So Hillary doesn't want to debate Sanders after all. And the decision is getting panned vociferously here on the Young Turns. I don't agree with them. I find I rarely do agree with them. I think she's making the right choice. Of course, from her perspective, what her best interests are, right? She's rarely going to make the right choice for the country, but she'll often make the right choice for herself. Know the language from the Clinton campaign. They want to compete in California. If they wanted to win in California, they would have said that. It's a slip that seems to have been missed and that implies their internals are negative. If Sanders wins a close race, it doesn't matter much. But if he wins in a landslide, there's a chance it might. So Clinton's optimal strategy is to keep the situation low-key in order to reduce turnout. Turning down the debate is actually a voter suppression tactic. And if you look at the situation where she is in her campaign, where he is in his campaign, where Trump is in his campaign, the possibility of getting beaten badly in California is too much of a risk. And her optimal strategy is to do everything she can to avoid that. It's going to badly harm her credibility if she loses big. If it's 50-50, or he wins, with 52-48 or something like that, then it's not going to make any difference, right? But if they go through this process, and it turns out Californians like ideas like universal health care, they think the whole tuition thing, there's a lot of people at Berkeley, maybe they might like that idea, and it might turn out that, he might win a big majority. Then what? I went over this before, because even if he does get a majority of the delegates out of the process, so even if she does get a majority of the pledged delegates out of the process, if she gets beaten really badly in the biggest state on the last day, is really going to make her look bad. And it's going to give him the argument he needs going into the convention. Now the flip side of that is everybody's going to cry foul, right? Well, we'll see how it works out, right? What she wants is for it just to fade out of the news cycle, right? She wants people to not really even know that there is a primary in California. To just kind of forget about it. Right? That's what she really wants here. And it is the right strategy. Because if this does get a lot of coverage, it does get high ratings, if everybody in the state knows it, if Sanders can whip people up and get the vote out and beat her, sorry, let me rephrase that. If he can get the vote out, and they do the debates, and they get lots of coverage, and it becomes a big media issue and a big spectacle, chances are pretty high that he's going to win on a route. Because Californians really aren't going to be particularly keen on a neocon foreign policy. Someone who doesn't support universal health care or, her Calvinist education program. These are policies that are designed to win votes in Missouri and take votes in California for granted. I don't think it takes a lot of deep thinking to realize that if you give them the opportunity to have a fair fight, and the rules in California are pretty fair, and you give them lots of media coverage and you let them duke it out, Sanders is going to win substantially, right? And so I mean, like, it's a cost benefit analysis for us, right? She is going to lose, a little bit of. Um, I think she's going to lose a little bit of prestige in her own party, right? You're going to have super delegates look at the situation and say, you know, here we are. We're a few weeks before the convention, and our nominee is refusing to have a debate because she's afraid she might lose. Is this really what we're doing here, guys? You sure we don't want to think about this? And there's going to be some people on the ground that are going to lose some respect for her too. But at the end of the day, I mean, those people are going to vote for her anyways, right? The biggest issue is, how does this... I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it had better work out, right? Her non-engagement strategy had better results in a split or a near split, at least, right? If she goes through this disengagement strategy and she still loses in a landslide, well, then I think that the superdelegates are going to have a good reason to lose a little bit of enthusiasm here. Because who's she fighting for? Right? But even that said, I mean, that's a very different argument than they presented. The argument they're presenting is, let's get as much... No. She doesn't want media coverage right now in California. She wants to minimize it. She wants to suppress the vote, because the more attention gets drawn to the situation, the higher the chances that there's a serious issue there. Because in my mind, the idea that Bernie Sanders could get 70-75% of the vote, that's not impossible. It's really not.